Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today, on the table in front of us, we have a knife, but this is not the knife we're going to be looking at today, but I wanted this up here because, you see, this is the Damn Designs Djinn. That's D-J-I-N-N, Djinn. This is a fantastic little combination fidget toy and useful fifth pocket knife. I love the design. This one happens to be all titanium and has 35VN, although they do make versions of this in micarta and G10 and D2 steel. There's also a knife called the Oni, which is very similar, except it's a tanto. And unfortunately, I can't find mine right now. I'm not sure if I loaned it to somebody or what's going on with that. But I have one of those too. It's the same size, virtually the same knife, just a slightly different blade shape and a different name. About a year ago, Adrian of Damn Designs started talking about making a big one of these. And I said, well, let's do that. That sounds fantastic. So we'll put this here. This is the Djinn XL. Look at that. And then this is the Oni XL. And oh my God, I am very, very happy. So we're going to put the original aside here. And let's talk about the full size or XL versions of the Djinn and Oni. These are fantastic. They just are. Now, unfortunately, these are prototypes, and I say unfortunately, bear with me. The people that had these before they got to Adrian literally just threw them in a box and shipped them to him. And so the titanium one came with some snail trails on the scale. And this one in micarta and D2 actually came with a ton of color on the blade. Now, I have done everything that I could to get that off there, but D2 steel, when left to its own devices, will rust. So they really let him down. But that doesn't take away from the quality of the build or the excellence of the design. So we're just going to go forward. Now, the Oni here in the Tanto blade is S35VN, all titanium. It is a frame lock, as you can see. It has a really nice milled pocket clip on it, which allows just a little bit of the knife sticking up, but it is very much in line with the original design, although there is no lanyard space on these newer ones. It is very comfortable. Now, the way the handle is shaped gives me about 3 fingers, but I can come forward, and you can get your finger up here, but you're going to want to be careful, right? But even with just these 3 fingers locked in, this, and because of the shape of this fantastic blade, is a very comfortable and easy-to-use pocket knife. I absolutely am in love with this. The design of the Djinn and Oni originals scaled up beautifully. Now, these are a ways out from dropping, but if you're interested, keep an eye on the Damn Design website. I think he's talking about doing a Kickstarter for these, but we'll have to see. His stuff is popular. The knives that he makes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. I just love Adrian's aesthetic and the way he approaches knives, and these are no different. Now, the Djinn here is gray micarta or black micarta, but it's gray. It has a G10 backspacer in yellow, which was an interesting choice. It has a stamped steel clip, and of course, as you can see, it is a liner lock, and this one happens to be locked up at about 45%. The blade shape on the Djinn lends itself to your more everyday tasks a little better because it's just a drop point as opposed to the Tanto. But these knives in hand have virtually the same feel, right? If you liked the Oni and the Djinn, and many people did, you're going to love these bigger versions. I love when knife designers do stuff like this. I mean, you guys know I've got a real thing for knives that come in multiple sizes. I love the pivot on both of these. And of course, this one is completely flush into the micarta. It's that design of his, excuse me, This is his shape that is shared across many of his knives. On the other side, you have a really nice screw that goes in. Of course, it is also completely flush, and these are very straightforward designs. One screw at the back, pivot at the front, screw at the back, holds in the pocket clip. Now on this one there is an additional screw, so there's 2 screws on the clip. By the way, this is a great stamped steel clip. Nicely deep carry, right? The action on both of these is very good. That one bounced a little bit. Much like their small progenitors, the originals, these are front flippers, and they do have a bit of a mohawk for it. But these are knocked down and very comfortable. They're not going to dig in, but they work every single time. And I really like that. I am an admitted Damn Designs fanboy because everything that he's produced so far I have really enjoyed. These are no different. I hope that when these come to market, they do what I think they're going to do, which is sort of explode. I really do. If you guys like his new stuff, the new big, slightly larger versions of the Hades and all of those knives that he released recently in G10 and D2, you are going to love these because they're the same kind of beefy, I almost want to say overbuilt, and they feel very tough, and yet the designs are unique and interesting. So I'm going to put away the D2 and my Carta version. We're going to do the rest of our measurements with the S35VN and titanium one because that's my favorite. You get 2 3/4 inches, almost, a little over 2.5 inches of cutting on just at 3 inches of S35VN. The grip area from behind the swell right here is 1, 2, just at 3 inches to the tail end of the knife, 3 3/4 all the way to the end. This is a sharpening choil. Like I said, you can't get your finger in there. You're going to want to be careful, but if you were holding it like this to do a push cut, it's just fine. But you're going to want to be careful because you can come forward onto the blade. The overall knife from end to end is 7 1/4 inches long, right? This is a wonderful tool, and you can spidey flick it, or excuse me, middle finger flick it. Spidey flicking is for Spyderco's. You can top flip it, front flip it. Can you pull it? Somebody might be able to, but I can't. I've never been able to open front flippers that way. And you can just roll it out, which is really nice. It's a very versatile and excellent design. The my Carta version is a little lighter, but has all the same features, right? Front flip it, spidey flick it, right? I love that he's doing such variety. I think that's great. I wish more designers would do that. More makers would do that. Let's go ahead and do some standard size comparison. Let's just leave them both on the table. That is. Let's put the tip there. Get that straight. Let's see. Well, since we already had a, let's do this. Here it is against the full-size Presidio, and as you can see, the Presidio 2 is much, much bigger. These are mid-sized knives. They really are. Here it is against the Presidio 2 Mini. Now these knives actually share a lot. They're a little bit, in fact, the Mini and Presidio here is just a little bit longer than the Djinn and the Oni. But of course it's, they take up different space in the pocket. I was lucky enough to meet Adrian, and I share this with you guys every time I talk about his knives, at Blade West in 19. It sounds very much like he is going to be at Blade West in 20 as well. I mean, in 21 as well. Wow. And I'm really looking forward to the chance to see him again. His designs are fully unique. The Damn Design knives do not look like any other knives anywhere else. And these offer that same uniqueness, but they are exceptionally useful. I've had these for about a week now, and I've carried them, and I've done all the little knife things that I do with my knives, including cutting all the media that I usually cut. Both of them did a great job. The D2, despite taking color in a box on a boat, man, that is such a bummer. The edge is perfect, right? No issues at all. The S35, of course, took no color on its journey here. Has no scratches. You cannot tell that I've been using it, but I have. Now, I'm a fan of Tantos when they're done right, and this one is. You can get it flat on the table, right, without banging your knuckles, but it's pretty close because it tips forward. That's because the way it's shaped. You can get down here and even cut up food if you wanted to. And of course, don't pry with your knives, but because it's a Tanto, if you needed to scrape something, it'd be great for that. Both of them are very comfortable if you need to do the reverse hammer grip. I think he's done great things here. I really do. Let's get the specs out of the way. Excuse me for that. The D10, wow. The D2 and my Carta version has a reasonably thin 3mm blade, 3.1 on my completely trustworthy calipers. We come in at 3.05 millimeters, right? And because it is reasonably thin, and because the flat, it's got a nice long drop, it comes down to a really slicey edge. The Tanto cousin here, the Oni, is at its thickest spot, same 3mm, and again drops down to a nicely thin edge back here. A little thicker up here by the Tanto because of the way that it's cut, but these are very slicey knives. Move those for a second, get the scale out. All right, let's see. The Djinn comes in at 4.3 ounces, and that's because it's it's wide this way, right? 4.3 ounces, which is not too bad, and this one's going to be a little more than that. The Oni, 5.2 ounces. You know they're in the pocket, but they are not obtrusive. And because of the way they are shaped, even though they are not ultra lightweight knives, they're very comfortable, as I keep saying, to use. Keep your eye on Damn Designs, because these damn knives, see what I did there? And all of his knives are absolutely worth owning. I am very grateful for the opportunity I've had to take a look at these long before they land in the market. You may be seeing these again in other channels, at least I hope that you will. These are fantastic. Once again, the Djinn and the Oni in XL size are coming soon. I don't know the exact date, but when I do, I will add it to the description. For now, I'm just going to put a link to his website in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of the Damn Designs knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below, or you can always hit me up on Instagram. We're going to head to leave it there. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.